Hello.
I'm Bekky.
My name's Ben.
I'm Nathan.
We're travelling around the UK, we're meeting
People from a whole different range of perspectives
Who are within the Methodist tradition.
talking about a range of challenging issues.
So anyone who's just looking to find out more, this should be really helpful.
It's going to be one heck of a ride.
This is the North.
It is the North.
Where are we?
Derbyshire.
Okay.
We're at Cliff College, I know that much. And yeah, we're going to be here for a couple of days, aren't we?
Yeah, staying for a couple of days, talking to a few different people. Who's first, Nathan?
I think we're talking to Ian about pornography and the effect it's having on the church and all this different kind of stuff. So I think I'm doing that one, right?
Yeah. It's a big topic, so we're going to let you take this one. But yeah, we'll meet up with you afterwards and find out how that chat was. And yeah.
Great.
See you soon, mate.
See you later. So we're here to talk about pornography and the issue of pornography today.
Like you do.
As you do, right? I mean, so many people, it's such a kind of taboo topic to talk about.
Last year, one website reported having over 30 billion hits, one porn site. They get about 90 million views a day. That's double what YouTube are getting in a day.
Yeah. So porn is something which is prevalent in the culture.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's mainly because it's so accessible, or?
You know, porn now is in everybody's pocket, anytime, anywhere. Yeah, that's young people, that's adults, and I think that's a big part of it, as you say. The accessibility has changed everything.
What are some of the statistics around, like, you know, the number of people, particularly like young people, who are kind of, you know, viewing porn?
I read a report recently that was done in the UK where 1,000 teenagers were kind of asked about their porn use. And I think it's about 96% of them had said they'd seen porn by the age of 14. And actually really violent, often quite extreme, quite nasty content will be some of the first stuff that appears in a Google search. So when a 14-year-old says they've seen porn, a lot of the time that will be quite heavy scene stuff.
Once we've recognised that actually it's an issue that lots of people have, is it something we should talk about? Is it something we shouldn't talk about?
Sure. I absolutely believe that this is something that people should talk about. And partly because I think anything that we don't talk about tends to just get worse. Sure. And if you're a Christian, there's a load of shame that comes along with porn use. You know, loads and loads of young people and adults as well, to be honest, are looking at porn on a Saturday night, and then they're rocking up to church on Sunday and they're hating themselves for what's happened the night before. And it's only as we start to talk about some of this stuff that some of the lies of shame can start to be revealed for what they are as lies. Other people can go, hang on a minute, I know you've messed up, but it's not over. It doesn't mean you haven't got any hope. It doesn't mean that you can't change. And sometimes we need people to tell us that because we've stopped believing it ourselves. What's interesting outside of the church, you know, amongst non-Christians, perhaps what's taboo in society is to suggest there might be something destructive or damaging about porn. And that's what we've found, I think, is like, don't you dare say there's something, you know, damaging about this. It's a different type of taboo.
Yeah. Why is pornography damaging? Why is it destructive?
Porn, I guess, is a bit like the junk food of kind of healthy sex and relationships. You know, junk food is something that lots of people crave, but I think most of us kind of know isn't very good for us. But if I was to walk into a kebab shop or something and I asked 3 questions, is this good for me, my health? Is this actually, what's in it? You know, what is this? And also, how was it made? those questions might cause me to think again about, you know, ordering a kebab I don't really need at 10 o'clock at night, you know. And I actually think those 3 questions are questions that the porn industry don't want us to ask. They don't want us to ask, is this good for my health? And more we're understanding how online porn in particular impacts our bodies and our health. There's a lot of scientific research that's being done, but some that's being published is telling us how porn impacts the brain, how it can cause addiction, how it creates escalation and tolerance that leads to addiction in the same way that other drugs do. And then there's kind of like the question of what's in it. And for us, we probably know that what's in porn most of the time is fake. It's not realistic. It's a hyped up, kind of unrealistic view of what sex is like, what body shapes are like, what people are like. And then finally, we ask the question of how does it get made? And in some extreme cases, we're learning that when people are maybe being rescued from being sex trafficked, where they're forced into prostitution, we know that traffickers are filming them and uploading them onto free porn sites, because like YouTube, same model. If you upload it and you get loads of views, you get money.
And I know it's not just men that struggle, women do as well, but you know, you might think, of course I don't objectify women, but actually when you take a step back from stopping watching it, you notice your perceptions change. And
it isn't just a guy issue. Statistically, 1 in 3 visitors to porn sites are female. If you're a female and you watch porn, I think not only are you going, am I a real Christian? There's all these sorts of, am I even a real woman? You know, is there something wrong with me because I'm looking at porn? Because there's this idea that only men look at porn in the church. And I think there's a little bit of a kind of myth that I think that people have, which is, oh well, I'm struggling a bit with porn now, but once I get married,
it'll be fine.
I'll have sex with a real person, so you know, it won't be a problem. And actually, that's not true.
No.
Obviously, the Bible never really talks specifically about porn, and you know, there isn't a thou shalt not go to x.com. And so sometimes you can think, well, has the Bible got anything to say about it then? But of course it has. In a number of ways. Obviously, the Bible talks a lot about sexual immorality, and so you can certainly put porn into that box. It's really interesting, I think, when the Bible talks about some of the narrative stories of people turning to something that they can control. I can see this God. I can. It's acceptable in the society that I'm part of. And there's a verse in one of the Psalms where it just says they forgot the glorious God that rescued them for Egypt and exchanged that glorious God for a image of a cow that eats grass. And I think porn is so often that it speaks to that part of our heart. Calf. Yeah, it's our golden calf. It's this thing of, okay, I can control this. You know, it might promise us that we'll feel better, and we do for a moment, and then we feel terrible.
It would be easy to just be left in, you know, despair, like, you know, well, we've sinned, we've failed, we're broken. What do we do now? What does Jesus offer us in that?
I mean, one of the things I think he offers us is hope. That it doesn't have to be like this. That he says, you know, I'm the resurrection. You know, you thought death was the kind of final thing. Let me tell you that when you come to me, there's always something more than even death. There's always another opportunity to experience life, because I'm the resurrection. Who is it that you actually believe that you want to be? Who is that person? What do they look like? And imagine having an election where that person is up for election against the person you feel you are now, and you get to vote every day for one of those two people. And so if you choose today to not look at porn, then you're casting a vote for the person that you want to be. If you choose to be incredibly brave and tell somebody about your struggle, then you're casting a significant vote towards the person you want to be. Maybe you'll mess up later on and you'll cast a vote this way, but as long as this person gets more votes, then you're more likely to get that person's going to win.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean? And so sometimes we think, I've got to make this massive change. But so often it's
little steps,
little votes to the person you want to be. And Jesus wants to show us how to do that. And he gives us, through prayer and through spiritual disciplines and through authenticity with others and through practical steps and choosing to avoid some things and choosing to embrace other things. All these little things become votes towards who Jesus is calling us to be.
Statistically, the majority of people watching this will be struggling with this. What practical steps can we take then to to begin to find this forgiveness and this healing?
Number one, I think, is get help, and that, I think there's two ways you can do that. One is, as we've said, talk to somebody. That is going to seem so hard to do, but that means someone will be praying for you. Someone will be cheering you on. But there are places as well you can go to get help. I'd really recommend an app called WHOTway, which is free for young people and young adults, which just is full of just some really practical steps and ways in which you can start to quit using porn. I think another really important thing is to know when you're vulnerable. Identify, are there things, places, programs that end up making you more vulnerable, tempt you? Or are there even emotions? And when you know you're vulnerable, some of those things you can avoid. You can say, it's not worth me looking at that stuff because it leads here and I want to be different. I want to vote for the other person. Third thing is also decide who you want to be, that person that you want to be. Think about what you feel God is calling you to become. Write that down. Have some pictures somewhere in your room that represent that. If you think God's calling you to, I don't know, be a worship leader or something, have a picture or a verse that kind of reminds you of that, and keep reminding yourself of what is valuable to me. We've often talk about, it's not just about stopping something. It's about what we're starting as well, and the two go together. I think that's really important.
Great. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Really appreciate it. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
Hopefully other people find it helpful too.
Yeah, great.
Hey guys.
Hi, Nathan.
How's it going?
Good. How was it?
Oh, it was great. So, we just talked about so much stuff. About what Jesus offers us in terms of forgiveness and healing from porn, and but also looking, actually there's some destructive nature of it, and the way it impacts our expectations of relationships with other people, and the way it impacts our relationship with God as well.
Was there anything about the discussion that surprised you?
I mean, just seeing on paper kind of, that 96% or something of people under the age of 14 have already watched porn. So it was kind of surprising, but actually most of my mates watch it. I have done in the past, and it's kind of like, it's just such a prevalent thing.
But it's not just an issue for guys, is it? It's obviously an issue for girls and for
absolutely.
young
I think Ian said something like it's 1 in 3 of the people that click on a porn video is a female. So it's not just a guy problem; it's girls as well.
So what do you think the biggest thing that you've taken away from that was?
I think the biggest thing is that actually, Christ, Jesus, and his gospel has got so much to say about this, that yes, we've fallen short, yes, we're broken, but actually Jesus offers us forgiveness, Jesus offers us healing, and he offers us something so much better than what porn offers. And so actually, the practical thing that we can then do is, confess and come and chat to someone about that. Some of the apps that you said about that are really helpful. And ask God to start that healing process. And actually it's both of those things together. It's coming before God in prayer and in the Word, and getting help from our Christian brothers and sisters.